Welcome to AI in 8 minutes or less, your daily AI update. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest AI stories of the year. We're talking about a secret, super powerful AI model from one of the big labs that was apparently rebuilt from scratch by just one developer. And then, he just released it to the world for free.
I mean, it really sounds like something out of a movie, right? But that question is at the very heart of a project that has the entire AI community just buzzing right now. This is a project that totally challenges the idea that you need a $1 billion lab to create the most cutting-edge AI.
So, what is this project? It's called OpenMythos. And look, when it landed, it wasn't just another open source model. Oh no, this thing was a statement. And that's when things got really, really interesting. So, just how interesting are we talking? Well, it got over 4,600 stars on GitHub in just a few days. For any software project, that is absolutely explosive growth. It's a huge signal, right? It just shows you how hungry the developer community is for this kind of open, accessible tech. All right, so how on earth did this even happen? Let's get into the origin story, because it's a fantastic tale of a secret project, locked away, being totally reimagined out in the open for everyone to see and use. So on one side, you've got Anthropic, a huge AI lab. They have this secret, unreleased model called Claude Mythos. It's totally proprietary, locked down. Then, on the other side, you have this one developer, Kai Gomez, who basically rebuilt it from the ground up and just put it out there as OpenMythos, completely open source, totally available to everybody. Okay, now this is a really, really important point. Let's be clear, Kai Gomez does not have Anthropic's code. This wasn't a leak or anything like that. What this is a theoretical reconstruction. Basically, it's an incredibly smart, educated guess about how the secret model's architecture works. It's built so anyone can play around with the ideas behind it. And that brilliant guess? It's all based on this revolutionary idea that just flips the script on how we build powerful AI. The key isn't about getting bigger anymore. It's about thinking deeper. Let me show you how it works. So for years, right, the go-to method to make an AI smarter was just to add more layers. Just make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, that works, but it is unbelievably expensive. The OpenMythos approach is totally different. Instead of just stacking more layers, it loops through the same set of layers over and over again. So it doesn't get bigger, it thinks deeper. And that makes it so much more efficient. The fancy technical term for this whole thing is a recurrent depth transformer, but you can think of it like this. Imagine you're tackling a really tough math problem. You don't just look at it once, right? No, you review it, you think about it again, maybe check your work a third time. Every single time you go over it, each pass, your understanding gets deeper. Well, that is exactly what this AI is doing. So here's how that thinking loop actually works, broken down. First, the model gets your question. Then it does a first pass through its layers. It comes up with a kind of preliminary answer. But then, and this is the magic part, it takes that answer and feeds it right back into itself as a new input for another pass. And with every single loop, the reasoning gets sharper and the answer just keeps getting better. Okay, look, this is all fascinating from a tech perspective, but why should you care? What does this actually mean for you? Well, let's talk about the practical advantages, because this is where the open source approach really truly changes the game for, regular developers and small businesses. The impact in the real world here is just massive. Think about it. A more efficient model means lower hardware costs. You can run it yourself, which means your data stays private. It never leaves your machine. You're not stuck with some big company's surprise API price hikes. And you have full control to customize it for whatever you need. You can actually run powerful AI on your own machine on your own terms. When you boil it all down, this is a fundamental shift in power. It's about empowering you to build your own AI tools, not just rent them from some massive corporation. I mean, think about a small online store. Instead of paying a huge monthly fee for a generic chatbot, they could build a totally custom one that really gets their products and run it all on their own hardware. That is a game changer. So let's just zoom out for a second, because OpenMythos isn't just one cool project. It's actually a massive signal about where this entire field of AI is going. And you know what? It's happening way faster than pretty much anyone expected. Yeah, this really captures the whole paradigm shift perfectly. For years, the only question anyone cared about was size. How many billions of parameters does your model have? But now, a totally new question is popping up. How efficiently and how deeply can a model reason? To put it simply, it's not just how big it is, but how long it can think about a problem. Now, let's be real for a sec. OpenMythos is still an experimental playground, okay? It's not a drop-in replacement for a huge commercial model, at least not yet. But what it proves is something crucial. The open source community is moving at an absolutely blistering pace. They are closing the gap on those closed, secretive labs way faster than anyone thought was possible. And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question. Is the future of AI going to be defined by a handful of giant closed-off labs? Or is it going to be forged out in the open by a global community of developers? Projects like OpenMythos suggest that this race is far, far from over. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to AI in 8 minutes and never miss what matters.